you're tuned out.
playing games.
I hope your eye's doing better.
It's not near as good as they used to be. I think it's one of those things that's got them. I'm just calm, falling apart. We made a decision to move to assisted living. It's 2 years away. And that's when we started building. But
It's a good place for that.
yeah, the place that we were going to do, we went to that presentation and immediately gave them $500, which we don't do anymore. But we get a number of different events, some events just social, to get to know the people who are going to be your neighbors. And
Is that local still?
it's going to be in people. What is called Tammuz. Lots there already. 200 people signed up like us. We had 182 of them yesterday. It's taking place. We're going to a presentation in 2 weeks where we're going to pick on our floor plans. We did it for the first time. Architects talk to us. Other people talk to us. They're doing all these big events. There's the wedding parties and things like that. A lot of people are always serving nice food. Every apartment has one member of the car. A red plug or something generator outside. So if you live there, you have an apartment. You have some CPAP or something, you don't have to go. If you need to go to a city care, it's just a care.
Okay, good.
You're going to have to move out from your spouse.
Nice.
Very good with them. Yes, to it. Just very important. I know it's 108. But it has 30 units. If we want to move in on the first thing to do is go from the road. We have to be a low enough number that
Priority.
what's the priority? If everybody above us says yes, we still do. Although it might be able to
I'm glad you found a good spot.
yeah, we went to their presentation with they originally were up in Watertown. They took us on the bus to go to see that. Way of doing things. So what's new with you?
Well, I guess this week I was clearing out, cleaning up the junk drawer in a sense, like the whole building. So donated a lot of stuff that we weren't using. There was an old overhead projector, old tables and chairs, and a whole bunch of stuff that was on Craigslist.
I did use him for that, but when he sits
No, I found a couple people, like, like, oh, they could make use of it, had a network, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's through the iPad, like through those wall panels, how we control the systems through wall
well, I
panels.
mean, we like you last week had it down last week.
We had it down for visual tequila, like there's a couple songs. Yeah, I'm not sure what that blinking is. I think green's good. If it was red, it's probably we can see us on the screen behind us.
Yeah, I will look at
You're familiar with how that stuff looks. I forget when you did it first last week? Or, yeah, so we have to screen down the song lyrics, and then it works out pretty well. Like, typically we just a small part inside for, but it's constructed. You put it up or down to read the slide.
Niles is one of the people that helped hire
Oh, yeah,
us.
it's solid.
So with the promise of brewers,
Real jersey. Yeah. That means. What if it's
But I promise that
focus
your
on
whole loyalty
oh, and these are good people to know because they have tickets
So what I did now,
Max is okay with this?
Women's volleyball, because Sheffield and I
Sure.
So I'm gonna go like two,
women's volleyball, yeah,
drawing that
and they're amazing, and the field house, it's outrageous.
Well, kind of like our, that light right there is time when you're fairly neat some light on the ground. But then we're talking about all these
But you haven't got it to the warehouse.
we had it really is like 7 watts. And they were talking like all this like wiring. It's $1,000 to get the proper motion sensors like with the entrances and stuff.
All I can say is,
Because it wasn't good for the so it'd be funny getting to like where like hold on a second, like wait here, let me go into this dark room real quick. And the near Tommy think about enough light.
what was it?
Well, we didn't change the lighting. We just added this light that's on. No, we were talking about it, but we didn't end up doing anything with the lighting. It was strictly to find like plugging replacements for because we really didn't do that because frankly doing the ceiling tiles and like cutting them was going to be as expensive as the light. So we really didn't find like a fit in the system.
well, I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, there are some. There's stuff that should plug and play. I guess one thing I was kind of studying on was a couple things. One, it's on a control system, kind of thing. So you probably have to redo it. And then there's stuff that was physically good, but there's questions on something if we're not the thinking of it. In a sense, and so we just were never quite comfortable with like we never got answers from the professionals of like, is this gonna work? They're not cause bigger problems. Yeah, the main difference is you get a little bit better video color accuracy with lighting, and you use the scalloping along the top. But a lot of times people don't, realize that. That's pointed out to you. Oh yeah, I think that probably is. I mean, there's gonna be a section of this thing open. Yeah. You mentioned something again. I might not do it again. We took it down. We got 5 minutes.
you do fist bump? Boom!
I'm going to, oh, and the only
How are you? And I didn't know you were going to be here.
Shabbat Shalom, Mayafe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Join me. Mayafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Mayafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. How good it is to join together in song and in prayer together on the sacred day of Shabbat. Once again, for those of you, I'm still going to introduce myself, Rabbi John Prosnit. 2 weeks to the day of pulling into Madison, and it's a delight and a fun for me to be joined by Dale Kaufman, who helps lead us in sacred music here and everywhere. Let's just let Shabbat fill our lungs and fill our souls. Take a deep breath in. Take a moment of pause. And we'll turn to page 120 to light our Shabbat candles. We'll invite forward Marta Karlov, the president of TBE, to light the Sabbath candles. Either one.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
I love that. Never heard that before, so how wonderful. And if you see Marta after services, ask her where she was this week. It's pretty unique and exotic. Welcome back from a wonderful trip and a wonderful family simcha. Page 142, the words of Shalom Aleichem. We invite God's angels to welcome us through Shabbat song.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Boachem l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The words of Lachadodi are back 2 pages on 138. Welcome the Sabbath bride. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
And we'll stand on 9 to welcome the Sabbath bride.
Great.
Face the door. Lechadoti likrat kala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishmeanu El HaMeyuchad, Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad, L'Temu Tiferet, Ve'Nihila, Lechadoti Likrat Kala, Yadalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Nikabela, Lechadoti Likrat Kala, Yadalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ishmihanu habaracha merosh mikedem yesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitorari, hitorari, kiva urev kumi. Shidaberi, Kevod Adonai, Anai Nikva, Lechadoti Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Kabela, Lechadoti Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Kabela. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, u'b'zola, toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lechadoti likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
Call to worship is on page 146 with the words of the Baruch Hu. You rise.
Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMivorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMivorach Le'olam Va'ed. Meditation before Shema, the words of Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael on 150.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chavta, Amcha Chavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu v'shachbeinu, Hukumeinu na'asiach v'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam
Va'ed.
Ki hem chayenu, Ve'yorech yameinu, Uvahem neke yomam v'layla, Neke yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavat al tasir, Mimerei Elamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem Kivod, Malchuto Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed.
Chant together the words of the V'ahavta, page 154. We can be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'adecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher nochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, bidibartam bam, bishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshovbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot ayadecha, lehayu letotafod beinenecha, uvtavtam במזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Read with me on the top of 157, our meditation before the words of Micha Mocha. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Ne'emar, Kifadai et Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. The words of Hashkivenu are on page 160. It's our nighttime prayer, our prayer for shelter and for peace. It's both a figurative prayer, so much of us need shelter in our life, and a literal prayer too. We know that there are so many in our community, in our world, who need the blessing of God's shelter upon them. We'll sing the words together. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
People of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
Join me for Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam B'nei uvein b'nei Yisrael Od hi leolam Od hi leolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai
Asa Adonai et hashamayim
ve'et haaretz Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam Uveyom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam.
If you're able, please rise on page 164. The opening meditation to the Amidah is from Psalm 51. As a community, we'll sing this opening meditation, and then we'll just have our moments of silent prayer. You can follow along the words of the prayer book or the words of your heart. And when you're done with your personal silence, you can be seated.
Ufiagi tekilatecha Anananananana Adonai Ananananana svaitai tiftach Ananananana ufiagi Ufiagi tekilatecha One more Ananananana Adonai Ananananana svaitai tiftach Ananananana ufiagi Ufiagi tekilatecha Ratzonim refi Adonai, Adonai, Adonai. To river go Ali. To river go Ali. Yehiyud la ratzonim refi. V'hagion libi. Lefanecha Adonai, Adonai, Adonai. To river go Ali. To river go Ali. Lefanecha Adonai, Adonai, Adonai. To river go Ali. To river go Ali.
Our prayer for healing is on page 371. Our Misha Berach Lecholim. In the middle of the page. This time I invite you, if you're praying for someone in need of healing, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, renewal of health. Potentially it's someone suffering from addiction or mental illness. If you're thinking of someone and praying for them, I invite you to share their names with our community at this time so we can add them to our prayer.
Those that I know who are suffering from mental illness and substance abuse. Eleanor Son.
Leslie Grant. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imoteinu lekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Does anybody know what happened 220 years ago yesterday? Are there any American history buffs in our community? Anybody want to take a guess? What happened 220 years ago yesterday? On July 11th, 1804, Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr crossed the Hudson River to Weehawken, New Jersey, where Burr, then the nation's sitting vice president, and Hamilton, the former Secretary of the Treasury, met to settle a political score. In the archives of the Library of Congress, There's a summary of the event. The participants fired their pistols in close succession. Burr's shot met its target, immediately fatally wounding Hamilton and leading to his death the following day. Today, 220 years ago. Burr escaped unharmed, and the Library of Congress continues in their summary. This tragically extreme incident reflects the depth of animosity aroused by the first emergence of the nation's political party system. What a wild story. The iconic image of the $10 bill shot in the abdomen by a political rival. If you want, you can even visit the location of the duel today. It's on the map, right next to the Lincoln Tunnel in what is now appropriately called Hamilton Park. American history is fascinating. Somebody should write a play about it. But hold on a second and join me for a little bit more of time travel to another fascinating moment in history. Let's travel back another 3,200 years or so and switch rivers from the banks of the Hudson to the banks of the Jordan. I'll save the Yahara for another sermon. Where in this week's Torah portion, Chukat, we encounter Moses and the tribes nearing the conclusion of their wandering. In fact, the final words of our Torah portion that's read tomorrow morning says, the Israelites then marched on and encamped in the steeps of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. It is here on the border of the Promised Land that the actual map of the children of Israel starts to take form. In our Torah portion, the Israelites defeat in battle their adversaries during the wandering. The text is actually quite intense. Then Moses sent out to spy on Jazer, and they captured its dependencies and dispossessed the Amorites who were there. They marched on and went up the road to Bashan, and King Og of Bashan, with all his troops, came out to Edrei to engage them in battle. But Adonai said to Moses, do not fear him, for I give him all his troops and his land into your hand. You shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon. They defeated him and his sons and all his troops until no remnant was left, and they took possession of the country. Later on in the book of Numbers, in a few weeks in our Torah cycle, the land divisions are drawn, and the borders and boundaries of the tribal areas are established. Each tribe is given its own territory of the land of Israel. Most famously, the tribe of Benjamin and the tribe of Judah surround the city of Jerusalem. And two of the tribes, Gad and Reuven, ask for an allotment in cattle country on the east bank of the river, what would become modern-day Jordan. And the tribal maps are drawn, and those tribes become the first diaspora Jews. History is fascinating. A third story on this Shabbat of history, and a personal one. As well, you'll learn I don't like talking about myself from the Bima. I figured it would be appropriate to provide a little of an introduction this Shabbat, my first time formally speaking as rabbi of Temple Beth El. Erin also encouraged me to share a little bit more, and she, as you will see, has great wisdom. I'm at least a fifth-generation American Jew on both sides of my family, having no immediate family that arrived in America after the turn of the 20th century, and no family at all that perished in the Holocaust. My mother's family came to America from Hanover, Germany, with early Reform Jewish roots. My great-grandfather, Bernhard, died in 1945, just after his son, my grandfather, Jules, returned from a POW camp after being wounded and captured during the Battle of Anzio while serving as a GI in World War II. Neither my grandmother nor my mother ever knew him. The family lived on Rugby Road in Brooklyn. Bernhard volunteered for a host of Jewish philanthropic agencies in Brooklyn and served for over 30 years as a board member of the Hebrew Educational Society of Brooklyn, a neighborhood house for Eastern immigrants in Brownsville. He was a trustee of the temples Beth Emet in Flatbush, became the first president of the Brooklyn Lawyers Club of the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies, and helped found the original chapter of the Zeta Beta Tau fraternity while a student at City College. By the 1930s, he had even become a liaison to Chaim Weizmann, soon to be the first president of the State of Israel, on Weizmann's visits to New York to raise money for fledgling Palestine. He was a proud Reform Jew with strong German roots. His family probably was poorly versed in Jewish text and law, spoke almost no Hebrew and no Yiddish, and would have never been caught with a kippah or a talit. He enjoyed his cocktails, both scotch and shrimp, that paralleled his New York WASP neighbors. Nevertheless, Judaism was his lifeblood. Judaism never felt like a religion or a culture. It was just his being. We know less about my father's family. They were from the town of Proznitz, today named Prostějov, which sits in the Czech Republic near the Slovakia border. Despite being Eastern European, they came to America early and were a family of peddlers. And somehow, I'm not quite sure why, they ended up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Eventually, they ended up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, where they owned a carpet store on Avenue B. Each family eventually migrated north of the city to Westchester County, and by the middle of the last century, they settled in Eastchester, New York, a town known for its 3 I communities: Ireland, Italy, and Israel. Keeping with the trend, the social patterns of the time, my parents and their siblings took on American names: James and Margaret, Wendy and Fred. My grandfathers each commuted to the city and eventually became friends on the 549 out of Grand Central Station, and they were committed Jews. Each family were members of Westchester Reformed Temple, where my parents were each confirmed a year apart. My mom's father, Jules, sat on the board of the temple, and I found out a few years ago that one rabbi, Rabbi Debbie Zecker, now of Great Barrington, Massachusetts, named her child after my grandfather because he was the main advocate for her maternity leave when she was the assistant rabbi at Westchester Reformed Temple, the first rabbi in that community ever to take parental leave. I was the first member of my family to make the long journey to California after my ordination in 2011, and I'm also the first to find their way to the Central Standard Time in the Midwest. We've traded oceans for lakes, wine for cheese, and curry for Giannis. As I begin my tenure here in Madison and at Temple Bethel, I look forward to getting to know your stories and sharing more of mine. As we embark on this sacred journey together, I believe at the core of each of us, and certainly at the core of Jewish history and identity, are the stories that have consistently guided us. Perhaps that is the greatest blessing of history, the chance to share in the narratives and the messages that shape who we are as a people. One of my fabulous teachers, the recently deceased president of the Hebrew Union College, Rabbi David Ellenson, used to say, if you really want to study Jewish theology, you should look at Jewish history. Be it the early Jewish revolutionaries, like Chaim Solomon, known as the financier of the revolution, who helped broker many deals to fund the Revolutionary Army, and who became a friend of confidant of George Washington and some of the other founding fathers. Or the 1861 story of Rabbi David Einhorn in Baltimore, and one of the Reform movement's great liturgists, who, while serving a Reform synagogue on the border state of Maryland, had to flee the hands of an angry mob, incensed over his vocal denunciation of slavery. Or the tragic story of Andrew Goodman and Mickey Schwerner, 2 Jewish kids from the North who were murdered along with James Chaney in Philadelphia, Mississippi in 1964 while fighting for racial equality. They died espousing the belief that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Or the story of Yom Kippur, 1965, when the not very observant lefty ace Sandy Koufax declined to take the mound for the Dodgers in Game 1 of the World Series. Serving as a role model for young Jewish children everywhere, Koufax sat out while the Dodgers fell to the Minnesota Twins 8-2. As our history, both communal and individual, from our weekly parashah to the famous klutzes of the Chelm stories to 21st century American novelists epitomize, it's not the maps, and it's not the dates, and it's not the buildings that matter. It's the stories behind them. We are more than lines on a page or edifices on the ground. We are a collection of stories that explain our values and mores. Our stories tell us what we stand for as a people, what meaning we bring to the world. The great writer Joan Didion notes, "We tell our stories in order to live." I hope that over my tenure at Beth El, we continue to share stories together. I believe that we are the characters in the sacred drama of living a Jewish life. We are the characters in our people's stories with our own chapters to write. In the words of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, to be a Jew is to see yourself as part of that story, to make it live in our time, and do your best to hand it on to those who will come after us. That's true for each of us here tonight, whether we are born Jewish or not. We must see ourselves as part of this sacred dialogue. I've already begun to hear so many of your stories. A monumental life cycle event, the power of Jewish summer camp, a transformative trip to Israel, an immersion in a mikveh, a community coming together after tragedy. Like some of you, no doubt, I've really enjoyed this week's New York Times and the list of the best books of the 21st century. Has anybody else seen this? I've read a few of them, not enough, of course. And one of my favorite books of the 21st century, and it's not on the Times list, though it should be, is Ariel Sabar's book, wonderful book, My Father's Paradise. In it, he weaves the story of his own father, Yonah, born to an Aramaic-speaking Kurdish Jewish family from northern Iraq. Yonah migrates from Iraq to Jerusalem and eventually to the United States, where he becomes a world-renowned expert in Aramaic, teaching at Yale and UCLA. At the conclusion of the book, Ariel Sabar writes about the birth of his own child. My son's birth was a comeuppance. It was a stark reminder of continuity, that we are who we come from as much as who we make of ourselves. Jews had carried a flame into the hills of Kurdistan, and they carried it out, still burning, 2,700 years later. My father touched another candle to it and brought it across continents. I didn't want it to die with me. If my children ever feel adrift, unsure of who they are, I want that candle to still be burning. Ken Yehi Ratzon and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
If you're able, in the middle of 586, we rise for the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Adon HaKol, Latei Gedula Leotzer Breshit, Shehu Noteh Shamayim Ve'yotzer Haaretz, Umoshav Yekaro B'Shamayim Imav, Ushchinat Uzo V'Kofhei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Eno, V'nachnu Korim, Umishachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
As we're standing as a community, we offer a prayer for the state of Israel and her people. This prayer is written by Rabbi John Rossoff. Avinu Shabashamayim, eternal God, receive our prayer for the peace and security of the state of Israel and her people. Spread blessing upon the land and upon all who labor in its interest. Protect Israelis as they defend themselves against missiles and hate. Protect the innocent among the Palestinian people that they may be safe and free from death and injury. Inspire Israel's leaders to both defend our people and follow the ways of righteousness and compassion. Remove from the hearts of our people fear, hatred, malice, strife, and vengeance. May the Jewish people scattered throughout the earth stand strong in solidarity with the state of Israel in times of war and peace. And may they be infused with the ancient hope of Zion. May our people be encouraged by the symbol of Jerusalem as the eternal city of peace. May the state of Israel be a blessing to all its inhabitants and to the Jewish people everywhere. May she be a light to the nations of the world. And together we say, Amen. Be seated. Kaddish is on page 598. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, and those of our friends and neighbors have lost. If I could read the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise in his or her honor, and we'll rise as one community to say the words of Kaddish together. On this Shabbat, we remember with love Abraham Abrams, Leo Berman, Lynn S. Berman, Ernestine Chekik, George Coburn, Edith Fabish, Mark David Fells, Jean Gronick, Max H. Halpern, Sidney Howard Kalfs, Harry Cantor, F. Lester Levy, Sonia Mallitz, Barbara LaBelle, David Hirschfield Margulies, Hazel Martin, Martin Miller, Robert Mitzman, Judy Obrasky Schreiber, Norothe Reivitz, Lou Ross, Kenneth Schmidt, Judith Schuster, Jacqueline Siegel, Susan R. Sinaiko, Leonard Stein, and Susan Winnick. If you're remembering someone whose name I did not read, I invite you to rise at this time and share their name with our community. We rise together on 598. Yidkadal v'yidkadash shemei rabbah, v'yama divara kirtei b'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei t'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman karib b'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam ulmei almaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei usha prihu, le'ela min kol berchata b'shirata, tushbechata b'nechemata, ta'miram b'yama b'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, b'chaim aleinu b'al kol Yisrael b'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu b'al kol Yisrael b'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to the entire world, to which we say, Amen. Sing the words, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, our prayer for peace, peace here, peace in Israel, and peace everywhere. You probably know it, but if you don't, it is in the middle of page, it's on the bottom of 657.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'shalom, Shalom, Shalom, Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, Salam, Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kulam.
Many thanks to the TB Sisterhood and the Women of Reformed Judaism WRJ for sponsoring the pre-nosh ice cream. I think my daughter had 4 ice creams, so you guys got to put her to bed tonight, but continue to schmooze afterwards. It's a delight to be with everybody, and also a special delight to be with Dale tonight and to lead worship with you. Let's stand up and we'll sing the words of Kiddush together. I think it's on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta Yotanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shavat kodeshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat L'chaim. Shabbat Shalom. Say hi to somebody new on your way out. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol Shalom Olam Olam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol Shalom Salam Salam. Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu, Ojivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Good Shabbos, you.